What's going on, YouTube? Back in the garage. Today we're going to be working on the CRX again. We're going to be fixing one of the most common problems with the CRX, and that is the climate control cracking and caving in. I found that you can fix it by one of a couple ways, actually. You can glue it back together, pray that it holds, or someone on Amazon or eBay sells a metal plate that comes with 3M tape on the back, and you can stick the climate control to it, line it up, stick it to it, and pray that it holds. I did that route. I ended up using the 3M tape that came with, and also I used some Gorilla Glue. It lasted a few years, but eventually the glue and 3M tape failed and the climate control fell back in. I found somebody on Facebook that actually makes a 3M printed or 3D printed part that replaces the whole outer casing of the climate control. I'm really impressed with it. I think it looks really good, well designed and well printed piece. Here it is. As you can see, the front is textured like the OEM one. It looks like it's reinforced where it normally cracks. I don't know if they can pick it up. It's a little bit thicker. The plastic itself looks like it's a good quality plastic they've used. Yeah, so it doesn't look like it's going to be very hard to change everything over. It's going to be a little bit detailed, but it should turn out really good. I can't wait. Another thing you can do is just go to your junkyard and try to find one that is not cracked. Good luck with that. Usually they're all cracked. If you do find one not cracked and you don't need it, buy it. Just put it in a box for safekeeping. They are getting really hard to find. I've seen people ask somewhere between $250 to $400 for a non-cracked used one. Brand new OE, new old stock one, people are asking way too much for those things. So this piece right here, I think I paid like $120 or something along those lines. The guy I got it from on Facebook, his name is Young Timer, and his name is Lucas XRC. This is his page on Facebook right here. He's based out of Warsaw, Poland. So when you order it, obviously he has to print it. That takes time. 3D printing products take a long time to print. Not only that, it's coming from Poland, so with this COVID-19, it takes a while to get here. So be patient when you order it. It'll eventually show up. He's a really good guy. If you have any problems, I'm sure he'll work any problems out. And last thing he wants is a bad name for himself, especially with a part that's quality like that. But yeah, I really like it so far. So yeah, let's just jump right into it and get this thing installed. Alright guys, so in order to get to your climate control, you obviously have to take your center console out. As you can see, this is a metal plate right here, and it ended up failing and the climate control caved back in. Again, it came with 3M tape on the back, and I actually used the 3M tape and Gorilla Glue and glued it right to the metal plate that I purchased. I believe I got that one off of eBay. It worked for a few years, but it ended up failing. But yeah, first thing you want to do is you want to you got to take your shifter, stock one, just undo your top shifter shift knob, and then you can find all your bolts you got, or screws. You got one inside the glove box right here, got one down here somewhere right here, It's a Phillips head screw right here. Then you got another one right here, one right here. Then you got one on each side in this area, one here and one here. Then this outer center console will come right out. Done. Now, try to pull the boot over your shift knob. Most likely you won't be able to if you have a stock shifter. You're just gonna have to bring the whole unit up at the same time. So I pull it forward, open up the glove box because there's a little tab here. You won't get by unless you have the glove box open. Pull it up. You kind of have to swing it up. Right up. At this point, you want to remove the unit that has your radio and your cigarette lighter and your ashtray. That's going to be 4 Phillips head screws, and then when you pull it out, you're going to have to unplug your cigarette lighter. Some of them even have another plug in there for a light for your cigarette or your ashtray, and I think that's about it. My memory's correct. Okay, once you get those 4 screws out, just pull this centerpiece, and then you can reach back there and unplug your radio and your cigarette lighter. At this point, normally you have a metal brace right here. Years ago, I got aggravated and I just cut that sucker right out. I probably doesn't help the fact if you remove that brace that it's going to end up just cracking again, because that brace is it keeps this whole center part more rigid. But if you still have that center piece in there, what you want to do is there's 3 screws holding your climate control in. You undo those screws and you have to push back your climate control, drop it down to where your radio would be, then pull it forward at an angle, and it will just fits through these notches where your radio would be. Now, if your climate control is broken, it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt to finagle things through. But once you get far enough forward, just start unplugging all the plugs on the back of the climate control to get the unit out. Another thing, your knob for your climate control for the heat and cold, I don't take that whole piece out. I actually leave it in the car. There's 2 screws you undo on the back of the climate control. You probably want to use your little stubby screwdriver to get to them, and that makes it so you won't break the tabs for your selector. I'll show you in a second here. Alright, like I said before, normally you have a brace right here. As you can see, I cut mine off. Made it easier to, in the past, for me to get my climate control out. Now, your climate control is going to be broken, just like mine is. You might even have tabs on the sides that are missing and broken. They're just poor design, in my opinion. Now, I don't even touch these. The reason being is when you go to remove these climate control adjusting rods, you end up breaking these clips, the holders for them. So, and once you do that, it won't select hot or cold correctly. So what I do is there's two screws, one here, one on the bottom. I just unscrew the actual selector itself, and then I pull the remaining of the climate control out. So just pull your little knob off, and there'll be a screw here and a screw on the bottom. While you're also in here, you want to unplug, I think it's 3, it might be 4, 3 or 4 plugs. One here, looks like 3. 1, 2, 3. Unplug those. Alright, yeah, so it's 3 plugs. You unplug those 3 plugs. You undo the 2 screws. Now, the 2 screws you take out of your climate control heat or cold selector, keep those separate from all the other screws. I just put them up here. Reason being is they are less like a coarse thread and really short. You don't want to put something too big in there or the wrong thread, end up screwing up your new casing. Another thing you want to be careful with is that wire right there. You don't want that wire to break, so just be careful when pulling it out so you don't break that wire. Now I got this all undone. I'm going to put it on the bench and start assembling the new casing. Okay, this is the climate control I pulled out of my car. Like I said, it normally cracks right here and just goes to hell from there. This is the steel plate that I bought off of, I believe it is eBay. I think they go for like $25 to $30. There is another plate that somebody sells. I don't know who or where, but it's a plastic plate. Real flimsy. It doesn't have any ears on it, which I don't recommend getting that. If you see these, don't get them. They're junk. The metal one has ears on it. In turn, it will allow you to, if you're missing the ears on, let's use this, these ears right here, if they end up breaking off, you got the metal plate that will retain them. Another thing I forgot to mention is this is another climate control I just so happen to have laying around. You're going to have this bracket right in the back that slips into like a little notch on, I guess it will be the firewall or somewhere in the back of the dash, and it helps support the whole thing. I haven't been running it, so I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to completely eliminate that again. But yeah, as you can see, I used Gorilla Glue on the old one. It failed and caved back in. So yeah, I have this other one if I need it for other parts. I think I might actually just take apart this one and install everything onto the new outer casing, or new casing. This one I'll just use for parts, set that outside, something like that. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to start diving into this and start assembling the new, rebuilding the climate control. Not much to do with this yet, so everything we're going to be taking apart will be over here. I'll take this, take that off, take off all the knobs. I don't know much about this climate control because I've never used it. I found a deal. I might have to use parts from both of them. I found a deal on Facebook again, and I found it and I purchased it. Alright. Yeah. So, I'm just winging it. Alright, when you purchase the outer casing, he has instructions on how to put this all together. I'm just going to wing it. Why not? Doesn't seem like it'll be hard at all. Just gotta take my time when doing it. This climate control here is another one I purchased. I was originally going to use this one to put all the guts into the new casing. I might not be able to. I might have to use some parts from that other one. Alright, so I'm going to flip it up and start taking out all the screws and go from there. This is the one I'm not using. Set that aside. Alright, it looks like there's going to be 2 Phillips head screws on this side where your heat selector is. They're really small, so a lot of these screws that you're going to be working with right now are going to be really small, so have a nice a clean work area to put your screws so you don't lose them. This trash. Support. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to be reusing this support or not. I've been for years now not using that support. That's probably why things break. I'm not sure how I want to do it, but yeah. All right, it's going to be a screw here. Looks like there'll be another screw right here. That one evidently fell out of this one. Top screw right here. Basically, you just want to take all the guts out of this one, or out of your current one, and transfer them over to that. So you got to pay attention to where all these screws are coming out and what sizes they are. Alright, so the screws that I took out so far, 2 small ones right here, small one right here. I undid this one. I'm not sure if I actually needed to, but I undid it anyway. Then on the back side, small screw right here, and it looks like you're going to have to unplug this, your AC, if you have it, your AC selecting button. And then there's pull tabs. You just lightly pull up on these tabs to unhook them. And it should all just come right up. And there's going to be another one right here also. There's a now, yeah, there's a brown plug right in here. You got to unhook. That's going to be tricky. It's kind of hooked. Okay, got it. Alright, so when doing this, what I did is I put a flathead screwdriver right here, pulled on this tab out, and at the same time pulled up on the plug to unhook it. That'll separate this section from your circuit board. Okay, we're getting down there. Another broken piece. They are brittle. Okay, this can come out. This can come out. This looks like it slides up. Yep. Okay, it looks like there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little itty bitty Phillips head screws you have to remove. Just keep all your screws separate and try to remember where the hell they all go. Missing here. It's stopping this whole unit from coming out. Oh, nope, it just pulls right out. Just gotta tug on it a little bit. That's what it looks like on the inside. You don't have to do the 4mm nuts, so I'm just gonna tighten those back up lightly. Don't go cranking the heck out of it. Alright, so you're going to want to reuse this little tab, or this it's kind of like a beauty thing right here. Just got to be very careful by pulling it off little bit by little bit so you don't break it. PC buttons out. This thing is just literally crumbling. Good thing I'm not reusing this casing. Well, break it down. Your climate control is really brittle, so it shouldn't be hard to break it apart. It's just when you do it, do one button at a time and line them up accordingly with the window, obviously. And keep note that these windows, these little plastic ones, they have a direction to go in. So it looks like, let's see if I can get this. See how they have little feet on them, kinda? They basically will go in facing that direction. buttons out of your old climate control, your little tiny windows. Yeah, I was really surprised. I thought I could unclip these and slide them out, but you actually had to break your old climate control to get them out. At this point, it's time to start reassembly. You know, obviously go through each button, clean it up real good. In order to get these buttons in, you keep in mind what orientation they came out, of course. In order to get these in, there's a top window. This top piece, you gotta pull that off. As you can see, there's little notches on the side. It kind of clips onto the actual button itself. You pop that off and slide a button in. Then from the other side, you pop the outer part back on. Show you here. Take a little screwdriver, carefully pry on it. Pops right off. Okay. Left with just the button itself. Next one, this is my second button. Make sure you're going the right direction. Slide the button into it in the correct slot. Drops right back down in. Then have your finger on the other side. And pop the window on. It literally will snap right into place. Just like that. It's two. Now just go through each one very carefully, slide them into place, and pop the window back on. Now, another thing you want to take note is these outer buttons or part that you're popping off. It has two slots and one slot. The two slot goes towards the head of the logo, and the one slot goes to the foot of the logo. Alright, AC button, I can go in now. It should just drop right in through the top and snap right in place. Next I'm going to put the actual board itself. When you're about to put the board in, just make sure all your connections look good. If something looks off, this will be time to obviously replace it. It's like a lot of those screws I didn't even have to take out. Like this one right here, I didn't have to take out. This one right here, I didn't have to take out. So it was two of them I didn't have to take out. It was this one I didn't have to take out, and that one I didn't have to take out. So you can just leave those in. So just drop this sucker back in. This one has like a slot it slides into. Okay, this one has a slot it slides right into with the I should have showed you that. You gotta put this clear piece in with the blue side facing down. Then it slides into the slot, and the bulb will stop this from going anywhere for the time being. Now this whole circuit board should just slide right in. Yep, slides right in. Now I can start putting the small screws back in. Alright, at this point the screws that you want to put back in are the ones on the circuit board that have like a little white circle on it. The other holes are going to be for the outer casing of, well, the casing on the back here. So it kind of like sandwiches the board in place. Double check everything. Everything looks flush. Okay, now I'm going to put the board back on. Gotta plug it in. Make sure, well, there's only really one way to put this on. So if I put it on backwards, that would be a heck of a thing. Just make sure it snaps into place all the way. She's all the way down. And then bring this, it should clip right into place because you got those tabs. Which it kind of does. I mean, it's 3D printed, so. Okay. Now, use these longer silver ones. Just screw down the casing. Should be 2. No, 3. Just 3 of them. Double check all your buttons are working. And they seem to be working good. Okay. Now that your board's in a slot here, and you got your plastic piece in correctly in here, you need to put in, I'm going to put this back in. Now, when putting this back in, you want to make sure your notch is facing the correct direction for your wires to pass through. I'm going to kind of roll it in, kind of like that. Should snap right into place. Alright, next step after you put this white piece in, you want to put your selector for your hot and cold. So it only really has one direction it can go in. And it just slides right into place, like so. And then put the screws into that one. Should have 2 short coarse thread screws. Those should be the ones for it. Again, pay attention to where all your screws come from. Now I'm going to put the LED bulb for that side into its place. There's a little notch for it. Yeah, there's a little notch for that board right on the side here. Just make sure you line that up. There'll be a little itty bitty screw for that board. Okay. Now you can put your fan selector in. Right? Yeah. Now you can put your fan selector in. And just drop it into place and put your screw with the washer just lightly in. I'm not going to crank it all the way. I won't tighten it until I get the base screws tight. This is just to hold it somewhat in place. Then the base screws are going to be the little bit longer Phillips head screws. Now whenever you're tightening the screws down to the actual casing, you don't want to go too crazy with it, just snug them up. If you ain't binding, you got something wrong. Just nice and snug. It's 3D printed part, so no matter what, the 3D printed parts are usually a little on the brittle side. So just be careful when you're doing this. Great. But this is how far I've gotten so far. It's pretty much all together. The only thing I gotta do yet is pop this one little window lens in. I find that it goes in, I don't know if you can see it, that direction with the feet on top. They just fit in. It's like nice and snug. I don't see why I don't think you have to glue them or anything. They kind of just like snap into place. Not only that, after you get this all in, you're going to be gluing the covers over it, so that cover is going to hold them in too. They literally snap right into place, nice and snug. I tried gluing the first one, it just wasn't happening. Matter of fact, I screwed up and got a little over glue on the side here. So don't try to glue them, it's just a pain in the butt. Now when it comes down to the numbers and stuff, that when you pull this plate off with the numbers and the little windows right here, on the back side it's like rubber, black rubber, and it tends to peel off and you lose the color. So what I did was, any flaps that were pulled away and showing clear through it, I made sure I got rid of all of them. Then I stuck it to a 2-inch piece of masking tape. I stuck the face out down onto the sticky side of the masking tape. Then I taped off every number that I want light to go through, and all the little windows that I want light to go through. Then I spray painted them black. This is what it looks like. Got a little piece of masking tape on every single little window, stuck it to the masking tape, and just hit it light coat of black spray paint. I just have to wait for this to dry, then I can hopefully glue it to the casing now. Other than that, it's pretty much done. Okay, that's how it should look when it's all said and done. Well, minus putting on I guess it would be like a beauty ring kind of deal with the numbers and windows right here. But yeah, it all comes on. It's kind of hard to show you with but yeah, it works. The only problem I saw was, I think the bulb for here was actually blown out. I don't know. I'll fix that some other time. It's not a big deal. But yeah, that'll complete the install for the climate control fix using a 3D printed outer case. If you like this, I really like it. It turned out really good. I'm really impressed with the quality of the 3D printed part. These little windows here, they literally just press in. You don't need to glue them or anything. It worked out great. And once I put the actual cover over this, there's no way that they will ever pop out. Yeah, that's gonna end it for this video. Alright, so I don't know where I left off. I ran out of memory on my memory card. I had to delete a bunch of stuff. Well, import it onto my laptop and then delete a lot of stuff. Didn't realize it until I looked up and I was out of memory and wasn't recording anymore. So that's great. But this is how far I gotten so far. It's pretty much all together. The only thing I gotta do yet is pop this one little window lens in. I find that it goes in, I don't know if you can see it, that direction with the feet on top. They just fit in. It's like nice and snug. I don't see why I don't think you have to glue them or anything. They kind of just like snap into place. Not only that, after you get this all in, you're going to be gluing the covers over it, so that cover is going to hold them in too. They literally snap right into place, nice and snug. I tried gluing the first one, it just wasn't happening. Matter of fact, I screwed up and got a little over glue on the side here. So don't try to glue them, it's just a pain in the butt. Now when it comes down to the numbers and stuff, that when you pull this plate off with the numbers and the little windows right here, on the back side it's like rubber, black rubber, and it tends to peel off and you lose the color. So what I did was, any flaps that were pulled away and showing clear through it, I made sure I got rid of all of them. Then I stuck it to 2-inch piece of masking tape. I stuck the face out down onto the sticky side of the masking tape. Then I taped off every number that I want light to go through, and all the little windows that I want light to go through. Then I spray painted them black. This is what it looks like. Got a little piece of masking tape on every single little window, stuck it to the masking tape, and just hit it light coat of black spray paint. I just have to wait for this to dry, then I can hopefully glue it to the casing now. Other than that, it's pretty much done. Alright, I got my first piece here that I painted the backside black. I got to pull off the masking tape covering all the numbers. Let's see how this turned out. Turned out alright. Nice and black again. Set that aside, let that dry a little bit longer, and then unmask the other one. See how well this one turned out. I already can see one spot that I missed, or I accidentally covered it up with masking tape. But overall, it turned out pretty good. Not bad. So I can live with that. Let that dry a little bit. Alright, I got my first piece here that I painted the backside black. I got to pull off the masking tape covering all the numbers. See how well this one turned out. I already can see one spot that I missed, or I accidentally covered it up with masking tape. But overall, it turned out pretty good. Not bad. So I can live with that. Okay, that's how it should look when it's all said and done. Well, minus putting on the, I guess it would be like a beauty ring kind of deal with the numbers and windows right here. But yeah, it all comes on. It's kind of hard to show you with but yeah, it works. The only problem I saw was, I think the bulb for here was actually blown out. I don't know. I'll fix that some other time. It's not a big deal. But yeah, that'll complete the install for the climate control fix using a 3D printed outer case. If you like this, I really like it. It turned out really good. I'm really impressed with the quality of the 3D printed part. These little windows here, they literally just press in. You don't need to glue them or anything. It worked out great. And once I put the actual cover over this, there's no way that they will ever pop out. Alright YouTube, that's going to finish up the installation of the climate control 3D printed part. I'm really impressed with the quality of it. It turned out really good, nice and clean looking. Like I said, I have to still put on those little plastic covers that say, you know, the numbers for your fan and little tiny windows. When you peel them off, the backing comes off, and you can either try to rubberize coat it, find some new ones, good luck with that one, or just do what I did, tape them off and just put a light coat of spray paint all over them and let them dry really good before you glue them in. So yeah, that's going to finish this video up. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, take it easy.